Earlier this week, federal lawmakers met to discuss the possibility of big banks doing business with pot companies. We're going to ask the father of the cannabis industry, Steve DeAngelo, all about that in the 11 o'clock hour. So earlier in the week, the Senate Banking Committee met on the possibility of big banks doing business with legal pot outlets. I'm going to bring in Steve DeAngelo, co-founder of Harborside, the California Pot Guys, and what many call the father of cannabis, the whole industry. Steve, listen, if American banks can do this kind of business, surely it would ignite your market a lot more, wouldn't it?
Well, it would certainly make the market a lot safer. The market has been growing quite rapidly, even without banking access. So I think the major issue here is ensuring public safety.
But the idea of being able to do interstate business, interstate commerce, and allowing legal banking is just, I know there's a ton of money going into the industry. There's been a ton of roll-ups and acquisitions. It's one of the hottest spaces in the country, but this seems to me, I know it's not safe to walk around with $3 million to go to the IRS office, but this could have even bigger business implications.
Well, it certainly have business implications depending on how effective it is. And, while I support the efforts on the Safe Banking Act, I have some questions in my mind about how completely it will open up financial services for cannabis.
Let's talk about the legalization in New York because you're pushing for that, obviously, a gargantuan market. Many people are wondering why it didn't happen already. What's been going on?
Well, New York is a state that is large. It has a lot of diverse interest groups within it. There are many people who have different visions of exactly how to legalize cannabis. And that conversation is ongoing. In California, it took us almost 20 years, more than 20 years from the passage of Medical Cannabis Initiative to fully regulated adult use market. So it's not unusual that it takes a little bit of time.
Although people would think with the largely progressive states, certainly New York City, and the way other states and cities are really adopting legalization. I was surprised with New York and, to be quite frank, with New Jersey, that there's been this much resistance so far. But do you think eventually it will happen?
Well, cannabis is really a bipartisan issue. In the last election cycle, we won initiatives in North Dakota, in Arkansas, and in Florida. So it's as much a red state issue as it is a blue state issue.
Well, again, it brings us back to New York. What the heck is going on? But, I mean, how confident are you that it's going to happen sooner or later?
Oh, I'm 100% confident that it's going to happen in New York. It's going to happen in every other state, and it will happen federally in the not-too-distant future.
Stephen, the real estate stocks, the publicly traded stocks, they came on like gangbusters last year. This year they've been sort of sideways. As you get more big business, as they become public and the extra scrutiny on it, how will that possibly change the industry?
Well, what we hope is that the example of the Canadian public markets is going to show American regulators and the federal government how valuable and how important it would be to fully open the American public exchanges to cannabis. Right now, Canadian cannabis companies are allowed to list on the NASDAQ, but my California company is not.
That's nuts. Finally, there's a societal impact. There are more and more reports. People are pushing back a little bit, saying, hey, you know what, maybe even though, it has some medicinal purposes and it works, maybe there's some other things we should be concerned about. Are you staying vigilant on the other side of this debate with legal marijuana?
Well, I am, and a lot of the science, so-called science, that's being put out in support of those arguments is just old, already discredited pseudoscience. And so I do engage in those debates, and my belief is that cannabis is a wellness product, far safer than pharmaceuticals and alcohol, and overall, it's definitely a boost to the national health.
Stephen, thank you very much. Congratulations, and dig your hat.
Thank you so much.